What's up guys, Gray here, welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be talking about a few weapons that you might want to go get your hands on before Witch Queen. Now I know there's been a lot of videos out there like this recently, but we're going to try and do things a little bit different. I want to limit this list to weapons that are going to be much harder to farm once Witch Queen launches. A lot of these seasonal content in the helm and all of those umbral engrams are going to be going away. So a lot of these weapons are going to be hard to get your hands on. And thanks to some information we got from Bungie last week in the TWAB, we have an idea of what champion mods we're going to have in the coming season. Looking at this excerpt from the TWAB, they say when it comes to artifact mods themselves, we are bringing back a few perennial favorite anti-champion mods, including anti-barrier scout rifles and bows, and have done some work to make disrupting an overload champion, which can be done this season with auto rifles and SMGs, more reliable than in previous seasons. I know the wording's a little weird there, but it seems like we're going to have anti-barrier scout and bow, and then we're going to have overload auto rifle and SMG. So with that information, we can look at all of the weapons that will be going away. These weapons will probably still be available in some capacity, but they're going to be much harder to farm because we're not going to have that umbral engram system to focus towards these specific weapons. So you want to get your hands on these as quick as you can. Now I tried to narrow it down to 5 really great weapons, but there's definitely going to be some alternatives that I mentioned, as well as a few honorable mentions that you might choose if you already have some of these locked down. So let's dive right into it. If you guys enjoyed the video, do me a favor, leave a like down below, consider smashing that subscribe button, and if you're interested, come and follow me over on Twitch. We just started streaming over there. We stream twice a week, Tuesdays and Fridays. If you want to come hang out and chat with me, we're always going to be having a good time over there, and we're almost affiliates, so your guys' support would be super great over there on Twitch. Let's dive into the video with number 1. Now, Bungie did say that we're going to be getting back Overload SMG next season. And so the first weapon we're going to talk about here is the Stochastic variable. This SMG absolutely shreds. And the first thing a lot of people are going to say is that Overload SMG sucks. And that's because it does. But they said in the TWAB specifically, they sort of reworked the way disrupting Overload champions works. So hopefully these mods are going to be way more effective in the coming season. With that in mind, this SMG is absolutely incredible, and it might be pretty slept on. I sort of look at it as Recluse 2.0. This thing can get some incredible rolls on it. You can farm it with Umbral Engrams. It's available in the Season of the Splicer Umbral Engrams. One of the rolls on this thing makes it an absolute laser beam. I'll pull it up here in D2 Gunsmith so you can take a look at everything that's available. But what you're really going to want to focus on is Feeding Frenzy and multi-kill clip. These two perks combined make this thing so lethal it's not even funny. Every kill you're getting is going to give you lightning fast reload with Feeding Frenzy. That stacks up to 5 times. And multi-kill clip can be refreshed upon itself over and over and over again. The more enemies you kill with one clip just makes your next clip that much more powerful. This thing is an absolute beam. And I love using it. It's been really handy in certain content. And next season with Overload SMG, it's going to be very, very powerful. I highly recommend going and chasing this thing down. It does have a fair amount of perks here, so it can be kind of hard to land that roll. I really didn't land the roll I wanted until like a week ago. And trying it out, I knew I needed to talk about it. An alternative for that, if you already have this locked down, is to get a good Extraordinary Rendition. This is a kinetic SMG that was from Season of the Chosen, that also has some very powerful rolls. You can get things like Subsistence Rampage, Subsistence Frenzy, multi-kill clip is available on here as well. This is a great alternative because it's a kinetic, where Stochastic variable is an energy. Now moving on to number 2 on the list, this is sort of going to be a combination. There are a couple that I want to talk about here, but we're going to be mostly focusing on the Pardon Our Dust grenade launcher, as well as the Ignition Code grenade launcher. Pardon Our Dust is actually going to be around for a little while, so we are breaking the rules a little bit here. This came with the 30th anniversary update in Destiny 2. This is a kinetic grenade launcher and it has access to some really great perks. The reason I'm mentioning these grenade launchers is because if you're planning on doing the Day 1 raid or any form of high-end content, grenade launchers with blinding grenades are absolutely incredible. They can shut down entire packs of mobs and keep them locked down. Pardon Our Dust can roll with, of course, blinding grenades. You can also get auto-loading holster and Danger Zone. Danger Zone's a really great perk to pair with blinding grenades because it offsets that penalty we get to blast radius. You can see how much blinding grenade drops that blast radius. Danger Zone will allow us to bump that back up. Alternatively, you could go with something like Vorpal Weapon can be really strong, and you could go with like Spike Grenade's Vorpal Weapon. If you just want to go for all-out damage, that's good too, but if you want the utility, Blinding Grenades is really where it's at. This can be farmed from Xur, but I want to mention another option as well. The Ignition Code is another kinetic grenade launcher, but this one can be farmed with Umbral Engrams. This was a Season of the Splicer weapon, and if you didn't get your hands on this, you might want to, because I personally prefer it a little bit over the Pardon Our Dust. It's really going to depend on your playstyle. The beautiful thing about Ignition Code is that it gets the perk Slide Shot, which is insane for a grenade launcher. You can literally shoot a grenade, slide, shoot a grenade, slide, and just keep doing that. It'll reload itself every time you slide. Of course, you get blinding grenades on this, and Ignition Code can also get those same perks. It can get Danger Zone or Vorpal Weapon. They're both very strong. You want to lock down one of these, especially if you're planning on going to that day one raid. Blinding Grenades is absolutely clutch for those encounters where you don't really know what's going on. You just need to keep the mobs locked down. Blinding Grenades are absolute S tier. In this same category, there's one more I want to mention that doesn't really have blinding grenades. It's a very unique grenade launcher. That's the Deafening Whisper. This is a waveframe grenade launcher that was from Season of the Hunt, way back in the launch of Beyond Light. Now, waveframe grenade launchers are really unique because they shoot that wave of energy along the ground. You sort of shoot it in front of your enemies, and it shoots out like a wave of flames. This one deals void damage, and it can also get some really unique perk rolls. You can get things like Ambitious Assassin Rampage, Ambitious Wellspring. It's a really unique weapon, and it might be kind of hard to lock down. It can be used for really fun builds. These waveframe launchers are super unique. I like to have them just because they're fun to use, and it's worth getting before it goes away. Moving on to number 3 on the list is going to be the Chroma Rush Auto Rifle. Now, calling back to the TWAB, we saw we are going to get Overload Auto Rifle next season. The Chroma Rush Auto Rifle is absolutely one of a kind. It's very unique. It can get some incredibly strong perk rolls. It's a 720 RPM auto rifle, so it's almost like an SMG, except it doesn't have the range limits of an SMG. It can really hit a lot further than a normal SMG. Some of the perk rolls on this, you can get something like Tac Mag. Subsistence Rampage is absolutely incredible. It has a really big magazine size off the bat, and if you have Tac Mag, you have a 54 bullet magazine, and you're constantly reloading it on every kill and stacking Rampage. This thing is a bullet hose. It's going to be very, very strong against champions next season, and it's really strong in all forms of content. If you're doing lost sectors or just strikes, whatever the new seasonal activity is, this is a great weapon for mowing down mobs, and you want to get your hands on it before it goes away, because this is also available with those Umbral Engrams from Season of the Splicer. So short and sweet with that one, get your hands on a good Chroma Rush because you won't regret it. Now, moving on to number 4 on the list, this is going to be another sort of combination, but this one's going to be focused on 2 exotics that are going to be much harder to farm in Witch Queen. Of course, I'm talking about the Dead Man's Tale and Hawkmoon. Both of these are tied to a seasonal story mission that is repeatable once a week for random rolls. Now, you're running out of chances to lock down rolls on these weapons, so you definitely want to be doing those missions now, because sadly they are going away with the launch of the Witch Queen. Bungie has confirmed they're going to be bringing back a way to farm these in some capacity, but who knows how long that might be. It could be a few seasons before you see these come back. Dead Man's Tale I want to talk about a little bit more because we are getting Anti-Barrier Scout Rifle, and Dead Man's Tale is really fantastic in PvE if you get the right rolls. The roll for me you want to get, really it only comes down to that 3rd row perk. You want to either get Vorpal Weapon, which is going to give you extra damage. This will also stack with the intrinsic perk, that Cranial Spike. You can do some insane damage with this thing. I was just messing around in a lost sector with it. It's very, very powerful. Coupled with Anti-Barrier, this weapon could see a lot of play next season. You can also get something like 4th Time's the Charm that's going to reload the weapon for you. That's a very strong option too. This is a very strong weapon to lock down. If you don't have a Vorpal Weapon or 4th Time's the Charm roll on Dead Man's Tale, definitely go after it. I wouldn't sweat it too much as far as the other columns, as long as you can get these perks. If you get nice rolls in the other columns, that's just a nice benefit to have. Looking at Hawkmoon, if you're a PvP player, you definitely want to lock down a roll on Hawkmoon. This has a ton of amazing perks you can get on it. We've got opening shot, rangefinder, moving target, Eye of the Storm. There's a bunch of amazing options for Hawkmoon, and if you haven't locked down a solid roll on this, definitely go run that mission to get your hands on it before it goes away. And finally, number 5 on the list is going to be a little bit of a wild card, and I want to explain it just a little bit. Talking about the Wolftone Draw Legendary Bow. This is a bow that just came to the game this season in Season of the Lost, and it's farmable with Umbral engrams as well. Now, a lot of people have mixed feelings about bows, but I'm telling you, if there is a seasonal mod tied to bows, which there will be, next season we're getting Anti-Barrier Bow, this season we had Overload Bow, and they're very clutch in really high-end PvE content. If you did any Grandmasters this season that had Overload champions, you understand how strong bows can be. You can be stunning those champions from miles away because bows have incredible range. You can hit from super far and just keep those champions locked down all day long. And now having Anti-Barrier Bow is definitely unique. I don't think we've had that before. We usually have Overload Bow, and that pairs really well with something like Le Monarch, but it might not be the case with Anti-Barrier. Wolftone Draw can also get some really great rolls. We have in the third column, you could get something like Archer's Tempo, where each precision hit gives you faster draw time, or you can go really unique and get Shoot to Loot. And Shoot to Loot's really fantastic, especially in GMs. If that champion who's 50 miles away that you're locking down with your bow, if he drops a heavy brick, you can shoot the heavy brick and loot it. And it's a very handy perk to have, and it's really unique for this bow. In the fourth column, we also have some great options. A really unique one is Frenzy. This is going to increase your draw time as well, making this bow feel really, really snappy, especially if you can get draw time reductions in all the other columns. You do have other perks like Demolitionist and Harmony, Dragonfly. You can do some really unique things with this bow, but I recommend locking down some sort of bow before the next season. Legendary bows are great. You can put things like Major Spec, Boss Spec, Minor Spec, Taken Spec. You can do all of those mods on these bows. Very great to have one in your arsenal, especially when a seasonal mod is tied to bows. And now finally, just a couple of honorable mentions to finish out the video. The Sojourner's Tale is an incredible slug shotgun. I recently did a video talking all about it. If you're into PvP and you like slug shotguns, it's absolutely S tier. Go check out my video on it if you want to learn more. I highly recommend locking down a good roll for that weapon. And another one to mention is the Code Duello rocket launcher. That's a Season of the Chosen rocket launcher. It's very unique because it can get field prep, which is going to allow you to have up to 10 rockets in your inventory with that launcher specifically. Very strong to pair with something like Gallarhorn. That may be getting nerfed in some way, but if you have nothing else to do, you need to lock down a good launcher. Code Duello is definitely a good one to chase from that Umbral engram system. But that's going to be the list, guys. I really wanted to keep it to weapons that are most likely going away or otherwise going to be hard to farm next season, but are also going to be strong because of those anti-champion mods that we know we're going to have in the Witch Queen. Let me know if there's anything I missed, if there's a certain weapon that's a diamond in the rough that you're chasing and locking down heading into the next expansion. Definitely curious to hear your thoughts. Didn't want to make the video too long. There's a ton of great options out there, but these are ones that I'm personally chasing and trying to lock down before the expansion launches. So thank you guys for checking out the video. Again, if you enjoyed it, do me a favor, leave a like down below, smash that subscribe button for me, and consider joining our community Discord. Hop over there, flex your rolls on us, show us what you got, tell us what you're chasing. Bunch of awesome people hanging out over there, and that community is starting to grow. Would love to see you over there as well. Good luck hunting down these god rolls. I hope you're able to lock down a few of them before they go away next season. They are definitely going to come in handy. Thank you guys again for checking out the video, and I will see you in the next one.